explaining the DOJ indicated they would not be supportive of an FBI investigation. Isn't that convenient? The deputy director received a call from the Office of the Deputy of the Attorney General asking why NYO was shopping the case around. Whoa!
Raking in, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars in the Clinton Foundation. It just on its face seemed horribly corrupt. Peter Schweizer laid it all out there, so you get people investigating, and then you got Sally Yates shut it down.
The Clintons busted. Their foundation, the subject of a newly declassified document that looks just like this. It's a Clinton Foundation meeting timeline, and it takes us all the way back to 2015, walking us through the details of what went down. Now, a lot of people calling this a bombshell. We'll call it a cover-up, but here's what it says over at Just the News, where John Solomon and Jerry Dunleavy broke the story after they got the document from Kash Patel, the current FBI director. So Kash came out and uncovered and declassified a bombshell memo that was written back in 2017, and it chronicles the extensive political obstruction of the law that agents from the FBI in 3 cities faced from their own bosses. They wanted to go investigate the Clintons, and their own bosses said no. Somebody said, as we're going to see in the timeline, shut it down. Then a Deputy Attorney General, Sally Yates, so this would be like the current Todd Blanche, she says, shut it down, okay? Quoted, with an exclamation point. The agents tried to get the help of federal prosecutors to determine whether or what crimes occurred while Hillary was secretary, most notably because at the time, her family foundation solicited hundreds of millions of dollars from foreign and U.S. interests with business before the State Department, right? It was a giant grift. We all talked about it. Everybody knew it was going on, but nobody wanted to do anything about it. Now, the timeline, written by a DOJ lawyer assigned to the FBI under former Bureau Director James Comey, was recently secured by Kash Patel, and now it's in our hands. Says together they make clear both the DOJ and Andy McCabe, you know who he is, place significant impediments in front of agents that they believed had the evidence to justify the case. And so here's what it looks like. You can see unclassified internal work document, internal FBI use only, now publicized thanks to Kash and the Trump administration. Now, October 17th, 2017, this timeline is now being assembled. As we read, Comey was the one who was approving it and going to be apparently reading it. In July or August of 2015, when this all started, Washington Field Office Special Agent had a brief discussion with somebody redacted. Sounds like they're from the U.S. Attorney's Office from the District of Columbia about the Clinton Foundation allegations that were the focus of the book called Clinton Cash. And Clinton Cash was this book, HarperCollins by Peter Schweizer, awesome cover, says here, Clinton Cash with the new introduction. The untold story of how and why foreign governments and business helped make Bill and Hillary rich. And remember what they did to those Haitians, man, sick. So here we got special agent from Washington now meeting with a prosecutor talking about this case. Someone was advised that this person was in the process of attempting to predicate an investigation based on the allegations. Okay, someone read that book. They're like, dang, that's bad. So they start, just as we saw yesterday, writing the forms out. Here's what I'm doing. Here's my investigation. Here's the category it's in, all the things. And this person in turn expressed interest in the matter and requested they meet to review supporting information sometime in the future. This person though never met with this person though to discuss anything further. That all stopped. Now during fall 2015, this person may have had 1 or 2 brief discussions with the other person from this assistant U.S. Attorney's office. The U.S. D.C. office and the public integrity section at the DOJ were probably there too. Now these discussions did not focus significantly on the Clinton Foundation matter, and any mention was likely ancillary to other discussions with the intention of informing them so-and-so was continuing to study the matter to possibly predicate an investigation. Okay, so we're just seeing some smoldering here, right? We got just a little bit of kindling, little sparks going. Well, maybe there's something. Shout out to Peter Schweizer, by the way, for writing that book and launching an investigation with his research and publication. And so they're talking about it, but not a lot going on in the fall. Okay, so August, fall kind of piddles out, whatever. So then we get to January of 2016. This looks like we've got a bunch of activities here on various dates. So on the 21st, 22nd, 27th, 29th, and then we get into February. So here's what we got. On the 21st, January 2016, so Obama is still in charge. A meeting was hosted by then so-and-so, probably somebody pretty high up. The following personnel participated in the meeting. This guy, former this guy, and former this guy, and this person, and here, and Maffa, and this attorney, and the Washington Field Office, and all these people. Man, that's a lot of people, okay? Big meeting. Now, the meeting was held to discuss the opening of the Clinton Foundation investigation, which never went anywhere. And so-and-so authorized all 3 field offices to open investigations, but to not take any investigative steps until the matter was discussed with the DOJ. DOJ. So lots of people now roped into this. So something happened between, obviously, August and the fall. We got a whole group of people like, yep, there's something here. So the Clinton Foundation investigative team access to emails, something, was discussed and requested. Emails in her server or something? CD advised that the search and access parameters for their investigation were limited in scope and specific to so-and-so. And therefore, CD advised they would not be able to share the documents with the investigative team. The next meeting on the 22nd, following day, says NYO initiated a preliminary investigation. Somebody filled out the form and there you go. Probably New York or something. Then LR, right? Another branch initiated a full field investigation. So they filed their forms. Then Washington field office initiated a preliminary investigation. Now we got all three going on the 29th. So boom, 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 one after another. Then they initiated a preliminary investigation. And prior to opening that, unknown exact date when they opened it, former Washington field office special agent in charge briefed the matter to so-and-so, who is the prosecutor from the U.S. Attorney's Office. So FBI is talking with DOJ, the cops talking with the prosecutors to make a case. Now, this person was aware that the New York office and the LR office were also looking into the matter and provided a non-committal response, implying that he would wait until the FBI had made a decision on which office would be taking the lead on it. Okay, so the DOJ prosecutor's like, whoa, you got three open? All right, let me figure this out. Why'd you do that? Washington field office special agent also contacted another prosecutor at the U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C. and the DOJ's, this person right here. The U.S. Attorney's Office expressed interest in the case, but was not prepared to offer a prosecutorial opinion. This is Obama's DOJ. Oh, Hillary, yeah, definitely want to tell us about that, but we can't give you a decision on it yet until we review the evidence. Now, the DOJ PIN division would not offer a prosecutorial opinion until the case was presented to DOJ leadership. Oh, by the FBI headquarters. Okay, so that's going to go up to Obama's deputy AG. Now, EAD and CID personnel, these people all named here, they met with the DOJ criminal division. So the prosecutors, this person, and the PIN person right here regarding the Clinton Foundation investigation. Now we're into February 2016. Hillary's getting, running basically. Obama's got a cover up for her, explaining the DOJ indicated they would not be supportive of an FBI investigation. Isn't that convenient? No further information was available. Now, shortly after the 2-1 CID meeting with the DOJ, unknown date exactly, says LR personnel were there, possibly former these people were here, and these people who did not know about the DOJ position mentioned above, briefed these people and these people on the Clinton Foundation matter. Now, this person was told by LR personnel, right? So that's another agency, another office, either by this person or this person, that he may not want to be a party to the briefing because of conflicts of interest. What is that? It's like, well, I'm like volunteering. I'm like phone banking for Hillary. Is that a problem? LR expressed these concerns due to the possibility that blank was believed to be a supporter of the Democratic Party. Oh, and possibly the Clintons. He's like, I just donated max to her. You want me to be on the investigation? Probably not. So someone advised that he was fine and participated in the briefing. Says, well, actually, this guy might be a problem. Like, no. So what? How much did he donate? Oh, the maximum? So, oh, well. Did he do it in the primaries too? Well, okay. He's probably impartial. After the briefing, someone stated he wished he could unhear the briefing, but he agreed to move forward anyways because it was such a scam. We're going to cover up for Hillary? That's the briefing? The U.S. Attorney's Office advised they were fully committed. Now, we got a whole bunch of stuff happening in mid-February. It says between February 1 and February 22, this person learned from former this person and or former CID that the DOJ was implying this case was just based on open source reporting and fishing through a book. Like, it's just a stupid book from Peter Schweizer. It says this person advised that the case was open based on this. Actually, no, it's not exactly just the book. It's also this source redacted and investigative work in addition to open source reporting. Okay. A source often used to open PC on cases as appropriate. So it's not just the book. We also went and found this. We also went and found this. And that's probably what happened between this time period and this time period, right? July, August, they have this conversation. Like, well, I'll go look into it. They check with other sources. The evidence starts to mount. And then boom, they have this all hands meeting on January 21st, 2016, where they bring everybody together, all these people, and launch the investigation. Then the DOJ gets wind of it. Then they start to step in. The NYO former special agent in charge, this person and this person, discussed their plan. Later in the same day, the former New York prosecutor and this person met to discuss it on February 17th. Then there was another meeting, same day, that was held between this person, the New York field office, the Washington field office, and this person. And guess who else was there? Deputy Director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe, who led the meeting. Of course he did. Former CID, this person, also participated in the meeting. It's unknown if the LR personnel from that office were there, but Deputy Director McCabe was advised advised by New York of a New York confidential human source who possibly had information on the matter. You're kidding. Now, McCabe directed that no overt investigative steps were to be taken on the Clinton investigation without his approval. Andrew McCabe. Don't you dare look into them. He authorized the debriefing of open CHSs. All right, well, just wrap that up. And analysis of information pertaining to the Clinton Foundation found in the databases. You can look at the data and debrief anything that's open, but don't do anything else without my permission. And McCabe also had been briefed on the Clinton Foundation matter previously, possibly by this person or by this person, but it's unknown to what extent. So like Andy's not coming in cold, like he knows kind of what's going on, probably, and cuts it off. So then they hosted another meeting with all three field offices, led by former this person. This person advised all overt investigative steps related to the investigation would require deputy director approval. So now everything on the 22nd has to come through Andrew, with the exception of speaking to open confidential sources. FBI divisions were directed not to open or recruit anyone new, and no additional overt investigative steps were authorized because Hillary Clinton was running for president. Now, this other field office at the direction of former somebody sent an email to another division requesting concurrence to get supporting documents for this, if they would be willing to provide them voluntarily following McCabe's directive. Now, LR never got permission. Oh, well, he said we can get those documents if we ask permission. Can we have them? No. Possibly March, unknown exact date, somebody informed LR that Deputy Attorney General, okay, so Andy McCabe is the Deputy Director at the FBI, but Sally Yates is in the Todd Blanche position. So it's like the current Dan Bongino and the current Todd Blanche are operating, but these are Obama's people. And Todd Blanche and Dan Bongino would never do such a thing. But you can see these are the same positions of power. Now, that Deputy Attorney General, AG Sally Yates, so very high position, number 2, the DOJ, the prosecutors, ordered the attorney's office to, quote, shut it down. That's Hillary. She's protected. Don't you dare open up any other investigative steps without talking to us. And this person notified former so-and-so and so-and-so about it. Shut it down. Now, this person and this person did not have any follow-up conversations about DAG Yates's, Deputy AG Yates's order to shut it down. On what basis? Now, the Eastern District of New York, their public integrity unit, they advised New York, this person, that the Eastern District of New York spoke with the Deputy Attorney General's office. So they went back to Yates and they were told to move forward and meet with a cooperating witness. Wow. Now, the purpose of the meeting with the cooperating witness was for the cooperating witness to review transcripts of the recording between the witness and an individual associated with the Clinton Foundation. Would like to know who those people are. This person and this person discussed the meeting with the witness that was about to occur in March 10th, about 8 days away from this entry. Deputy Director McCabe, he was briefed on the Clinton Foundation by the CID division. It is unknown if he was fully briefed on this previously, as he requested a comprehensive briefing, but we can't confirm he got it or not. Now, they then provided a full detailed briefing concerning predication of the Clinton investigation, saying there was open source material. Somebody wrote a book about it. It's all public. There was a confidential human source and this person and this person's information. So then they hosted a meeting and there were a bunch of field offices that got brought together, Washington, New York, and LR. Now, the CID advised this investigation would be consolidated into one case file, and we're just going to bundle it up and give it off to New York. Now, New York was determined to have the best opportunity to pursue this investigation proactively using an existing source, and due to the fact that the majority of the CF operations were based out of New York City. Additionally, having 3 field offices pursuing the same subject was inefficient and duplicative, and also very hard to control. Much easier to control just one field office. Washington and LR were directed to close their investigations due to the consolidation, and New York was advised no overt investigative action was to take place unless authorized by deputy director. Okay, so other kids are cut out of the game that you can't play anymore because you're going to win. You're going to find something, so you're cut off. Your game is over. Analysis of this document obtained through a related investigation and the debriefing of existing sources were authorized, and analysis of Hillary Clinton's something obtained through the State Department during the Washington investigation on this was also authorized. So that's probably her emails. So this division and the Eastern District of New York, this person, they had a telephone conversation in which this person requested a commitment from the Eastern District of New York for moving forward with at least something. I don't know what that is. A grand jury, subpoenas. Someone advised that she would interviews. Someone advised that she would let someone know upon review review and discussion with her personnel. Depositions, what do you want to do? What are you guys doing? Then the New York office contacted the Eastern District of New York to request redacted and redacted and redacted. So then the Eastern District and this other person, they met to do something. Later in the same day, this person contacted this person who advised she will be meeting with the U.S. attorney called Robert Capers to decide whether or not to move forward with the redacted. So this person met with this person who was, probably head of the criminal division and was informed that the Eastern District would not support the investigation. So answer, no. No further explanation was given other than we love Hillary and hate Trump. This person then contacted the Southern District of New York, the U.S. attorney's office there, and this person and said, hey, well, you're a prosecutor there. Here's our evidence. We've got all this material on Bill and Hillary. They're fraudsters and criminals. Will you help us prosecute them? No response provided by the SDNY, clearly. So then this other person had a conversation with another prosecutor, or PC, about the same matter. This person advised, well, more likely the decision is going to be, we're not going to proceed on that. Why are we going to go after our own person? No further explanation was given. So then this person spoke with the Southern District of New York, going around checking with everybody like, hey, will you prosecute? No. Will you prosecute? No. Will you? No. What? He keeps going. This person advised, he spoke with someone. He's like, why not? Well, Sally Yates says no. Office of the Deputy Attorney General, he calls their office and advised this person that this principal deputy AG at the DOJ had a conversation with the FBI and was under the impression that the New York office was not looking for any legal process and simply was reviewing documentation. So he calls, he's like, hey, I'm looking at, why can't I prosecute this? We're like, well, why would you prosecute? We already heard from the New York that you're not going to prosecute. You're just like looking at documents or something. So then New York advised, oh, you want to prosecute? New York says, no, we're not going to support that. That's crazy. All we want to do is just read her documents. I mean, what do you think we are? Like a law enforcement agency? No, we're the FBI. This person requested a declination letter from the Eastern District of New York about the decision. Said, oh, if you're not going to prosecute her for this, like there's a lot of evidence here, I'd like a declination letter just to say, hey, we presented this evidence to you. We're the FBI. We've got a whole bunch of materials here that are going to be useful and you're not going to prosecute. Can you decline that for us for our files? We'll close it out. This person advised it is generally not done. Well, we're not going to do that here, but let me see if we can paper the file for you, which they're not going to do. Telcal between incoming this person from Deputy Director regarding the Clinton Foundation and the Eastern District of New York. So there's a meeting with Deputy Director directing no overt action, review only, requesting this person relay the same to the New York special agent in charge. The Deputy Director received a call from the Office of the Deputy of the Attorney General asking why NYO was shopping the case around. Whoa. Okay, so this dude, as we just described, was going around saying, will you prosecute? Are you kidding? How about you? Will you come over here and prosecute? No. Why not? How about you over here? Now they get wind of this. This dude is shopping the case around. We already told you no. This person placed a phone call to the New York office relaying the Deputy Director's direction. There will be no overt action at all. Okay, so they were talking about doing something. We don't know exactly what it was. Will you at least proceed with moving forward on depositions, grand jury, indictments, subpoenas, something? They catch wind, eliminate it. Then there's another telephonic conference between this person and this person on several different matters, is also talking about a brief Wall Street Journal article, which was published about this, probably for some leaked documents. So now look at the dates. We're in October. October 25th, we're just days away from the 2016 election. And here's what we've got. A meeting, which included a brief update on the Weiner investigation, which was Hillary Clinton's aide's Uma's husband, who's apparently got a photo problem, overt legal process and ability to get this person for Weiner. And note, this small group discussion occurred after two larger discussions, and the Deputy Director advised that he needed to move forward and request action consistent with the DOJ guidelines relative to the election. Election's coming up. Now the Deputy Director is reminded that the Eastern District of New York had previously stated that they're not going to pursue the Clinton Foundation. Okay, we're like 2 weeks away, but then changed to no legal process until after the election. Okay, so we'll just wait. So then there were other telephonic meetings between this person, and separately this person, and both advised of another meeting with this person and advised that guidance was given during the SVTC from the DD was to seek legal process if that was deemed needed in accordance with the DOJ guidelines. This person advised that was contrary to the previous guidance, which was no overt legal process to be sought. So we've got more meetings happening, and they're getting very squirrely now because the election is right around the corner, and they definitely don't want any type of October surprise to pop off. Now, the telephonic conference between these people also happened, and there were leaks at this agency's displeasure. Now, this agency gives specific guidance on warning personnel about leaks. In a follow-up call to the one above, the deputy director advises on 10/26 that the New York office that he wanted to be on the record recusing himself from the Clinton Foundation case. What? He's like, oh man, I'm way too close to this. The NYO advised that he would communicate that to this other person. Now, then there's another meeting from the deputy director to this person regarding the Wall Street article, concerns over leaks and the need to advise folks of media policy. Follow-up telephonic conferences between these people. So the Wall Street Journal article has him skittish. He's like, I gotta recuse now. DD then sent an email recusing himself from the Clinton Foundation investigation. Okay, so that's Andy McCabe, the deputy director, who is a him, the deputy director of the Attorney General's office, is Sally Yates. So this person made a request to this person to add the Clinton Foundation personnel to the Weiner team, or to provide a Clinton briefing to the Weiner review team. Anthony Weiner, former congressman, sending his Weiner all over the place. And this person and this person and this person was the subject of this. Now, a search warrant was obtained for this thing, and an initial review revealed a bunch of stuff with Hillary Clinton. Gross. However, due to the limited scope of the search warrant, investigators were not able to fully review emails outside of the scope. In fact, in May 2017, Weiner pled guilty to something, all redacted. Now, this person is advised by this person on 11/2, okay, election right around the corner, that the POC for coordinating, handling discussion of the potential Clinton information that may be seen in plain view during the Weiner case is New York's office's business. Then the election is now over, right? And we get into 2016, November 22nd. There's a meeting at the Eastern District of New York, all redacted, whoever's there, concerning moving forward on the Clinton investigation now that the election is over, consistent with previous understanding. Okay, so we said we were just going to delay it, which is their strategy, right? We saw this with Hunter Biden and the Bidens. You just delay it until you get close enough to the election. And you say, oh, we can't do anything. It's too close to the election. Unless it's President Trump, then you engineer your trials to occur at the most damaging time possible. But this person advised the Eastern District of New York that they had some concerns about the statute of limitations. Then it gets too old and then you can't prosecute. So this person was more direct and advised. He looked at the issue in 3 buckets. He says, look, I personally am concerned about the depiction of myself, this guy, in recent articles, like the Wall Street Journal article by this person about tension between the FBI and the DOJ, and they specifically cite this person. Now, the case could have statute of limitations issues, because it's just so old now. And 3, this person wanted to close this chapter and move forward. This person advised he did not think that the DOJ would have an issue to pursue the case because there was no longer an election reason not to move forward, and the Eastern District could pursue it if in fact they decided to do so. Now, the New York Eastern District requested additional time to communicate. These people shortly thereafter notified someone else that the Eastern District would not proceed with the Clinton Foundation matter. Nope, not going to do it. And advised this person and this person were done. And these other people met with the Southern District of New York again. This is December 1st. And other prosecutors. Okay, well, is the Southern District going to open up a case on the Clinton Foundation? And will you assist with subpoenas? Which is interesting. So in this document here where they're saying subpoenas, so the other one, in other words, they're not redacting the word subpoena here. So what were they redacting before? Probably wasn't subpoena. It was probably indictment. SDNY requested time to speak with the Eastern District of New York, which means there's probably a lot in this file, man. Southern District of New York called this person and advised he consulted with the Eastern District and the Office of the Deputy Attorney General. And he advised that the Deputy Attorney General left it up to the Southern District of New York to make the decision, and advised that he spoke to the Southern District of New York and this criminal division and the SDNY's public corruption section on the matter, and then stated the Southern District of New York was not in a position to disagree, and they also declined to pursue the investigation. Of course. So now they're just taking them out one after another. Now they're like, well, the election's over, so who cares? She lost. Participants included this person and this person, New York, this person, LA, this person over here, NY over here. The purpose of this was to discuss how to move forward on the investigation. FBI advised there would be guidance from the director's office soon after the new year. Okay, so now a bunch of people still smoldering around this thing saying, all right, are we going to prosecute or what, man? We got all this evidence and we'd like to be able to do something with it. So then the Eastern District of New York advises this person that he is not likely to authorize a declination letter because he was burned before on a different case, right? Nobody wants to put it in writing because they know there's a crime happening here, and a declination letter would just say, oh, we've reviewed this case and we're not going to prosecute. That was basically what the Epstein memo was from the most recent DOJ. It was a declination memo. and everybody went nuts about that, right? So he's not going to file that and get burned on that and say, I'm going to be responsible for declining to prosecute Hillary when there's gobs of evidence against her. So he agreed to meet after New Year. This person advised that a case wasn't presented for prosecution and that it is not a legitimate declination. So I don't need to decline anything because you never brought me a case. Separately, this person advised this person of leaks admitted to by supervisory special agent who provided the journal on this investigation being conducted by this other person, but stating he was not the source of the leaks on this other material. So then we get past the new year. They said, hey, we'll just wait till past the new year, come back on it. Then we're back, January 11th. Trump's about to get sworn in. This person hosted another meeting with this team, this person, and this person. Lots of people. Each of them briefed their respective holdings on the case. Okay, what do you think? Yep, prosecute, indict. Here's my evidence. How about you? How about you? How about you? New York office advised the FBO that they still did not have a U.S. attorney who was willing to work the case and provide subpoenas, right? This is how corrupt the DOJ is. Like these prosecutors, like, man, they'll subpoena you if you're a MAGA person. You know, they subpoenaed everything and constantly do. But if it's a Clinton Foundation witness, no subpoenas, no U.S. attorneys, the same people who will preach and lecture us about how incredible and just they are. This office briefed that their USA was willing to work the case. Wow. So out in LR, we got one. Shout out to the one dude. So then they sent an email advising that following a meeting with this, a decision had been made back on January 17th to assign FBI person here to conduct a 30-day in-depth review of the investigation. Okay. So they're getting ready now to like prosecute. They were ready to prosecute way before. They got stalled. Then they just say, just give us 30 more days. Okay. Trump's going to come in and everything. And then Trump's going to come in and change a bunch of stuff and something's going to get lost in the madness, right? You make your grift in the gray area. Now here on April, so then months go by, this person was briefed on the Clinton Foundation investigation and a bunch of these people participated. A meeting was hosted by this person to discuss a way forward. This is now in July. Trump's well in charge. This person, CID, Washington field office, all of the rest of them participated in the briefing. This person spoke with the Eastern District of Arkansas and another special agent separately spoke and they were supportive and they agreed something, but it would require DOJ concurrence before moving forward. So then these other people met with the DOJ's criminal division, these people and these people, no names. SC this person and UC this person from CID and this person, they all met separately with these people to discuss the investigation. Gosh. And during both meetings, the DOJ personnel indicated that U.S. attorneys have the autonomy and discretion to pursue any investigation deemed appropriate. And you don't require our concurrence, right? This is now Trump's DOJ saying, if you've got the evidence, just go for it. After discussions between LR and SC about these meetings with the DOJ, someone called the Eastern District of Arkansas to determine, did you hear from the DOJ about your position? You heard, right? That you do not need concurrence from the DOJ to proceed? This person said, well, no, actually, I had not heard from the DOJ, but I'll call and see. They said that? Yeah, I'll call. So then he added that they continue to fully support the LR FBI on this and reiterated this is the right thing to do. These people are criminals since the allegations were like any other probable cause case and that would be worked, albeit this matter was more sensitive. He's like, there's a lot of evidence here. We can see it. We would work this if it was anybody else. We know it's Hillary, but we have to. However, because the DOJ had told them to stand down last year, literally shut it down, this person was going to wait until the DOJ gave them concurrence, and it's unknown if they ever contacted the DOJ. That's how an investigation wraps up. So then this person received a phone call on August 23rd from this person who requested follow-up information about 19 Clinton Foundation bank accounts obtained by the LA field office during a separate campaign finance fraud investigation, and he also requested copies of redacted. Now, meanwhile, we also saw that the Pentagon, while the Clinton Foundation is getting a lot more scrutiny, we also are cleaning up some other loose ends with some bad security clearances that should have been revoked a long time ago, now being terminated, including this woman's. Susan Miller, MD Kittle, over on the Federalist, posted about this, saying that Susan Miller, who is a cheerleader for the Russian collusion hoax, can no longer be trusted. She's a retired CIA spook who lied about her leadership role in the intelligence report that lit the fuse on the Russia collusion hoax. She was a senior CIA officer who long boasted about her full clearance while she was attacking Trump. Now, apparently, that clearance has been terminated thanks to administration officials. Someone told the Federalist, this woman totally shouldn't hold a high-level security clearance after pushing the Russia hoax. All she did was lie to the American people to hurt Trump, said a senior defense official, and so now she can enjoy not having one. Now, Ron Johnson, senator, also was explaining his take on this, saying the FBI and the DOJ peddle peddled a false Russian collusion narrative against Trump while burying legitimate Clinton corruption probes in a weaponized system. This is blatant political weaponization. Protecting Democrats and sabotaging President Trump? We must defund the deep state, root out partisan actors, and hold them accountable in court. And you know one way to hold people accountable in court? Indictments.
The FBI is ramping up an investigation on false, trumped-up allegations of Russia collusion against Donald Trump, the Republican nominee, while the same Justice Department is ramping down, pressuring its agents not to look at the possibility that the former Secretary of State and Democratic nominee was engaged in pay-to-play. The contrast couldn't be more stunning, but that's what's going on. Your thoughts on how we go about fixing that dynamic, that two people get treated entirely different in the same window?
Well, we need to stop funding the deep state. We need to root out the partisan actors. But exactly right. So the FBI, Department of Justice, they're shutting down 2 Clinton scandals. Now, I'm quite sure these investigations were predicated on Peter Schweizer's book, Clinton Cash.
They were.
It was out there. I mean, you could see the corruption. Selling our uranium rights to Russia. Raking in, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars in the Clinton Foundation. It just on its face seemed horribly corrupt. Peter Schweizer laid it all out there, so you get people investigating, and then you got Sally Yates shut it down, as you say, while they are ramping up the completely false, the Russian hoax, knowing that it was a false Russian hoax from the Hillary Clinton campaign, while they're also shutting down the James Comey exoneration memo. The FBI, the same characters who push Crossfire Hurricane, they're changing things like gross negligence into extremely carelessness, so it wouldn't meet the legal standard of a crime. So no, I mean, it is thoroughly corrupt. Those of us who've investigated this have known it for a long time, so it's good to get confirmation of that. I'm sorry it's too late to probably rely on real criminal investigations, which is why I hope that Pam Bondi ramps this up to a conspiracy where we can get a venue like Florida where at a minimum we hold a trial, because I can't think of a better venue day by day, week by week, where we lay out the timeline of the grotesque corruption of these partisans within the Department of Justice, within the FBI, all on the side of the Democrats, all in opposition, sabotaging Trump's first administration. And if they can, they'll do it to a second administration.
Yeah, they will. Even Gavin Newsom is out there saying he's going to redistrict to end Trump's presidency, because that's just what these people do. In fact, they'll weaponize the DOJ and the FBI to do it, and they'll have deputy attorney generals come in when they're trying to shoehorn Hillary Clinton in and make her the heir apparent, the next person in line after Obama, realize that Biden's brain was completely broken. He's like, Biden can't have it, so we're going to skip Biden and go to Hillary. Remember that? And they needed her to win, and so they pulled out all the stops to get that done.